August 29th, the Soviet High Command signaled the importance it attached to Stalingrad. It sent in Marshal Zhukov. Zhukov had never lost a battle. The wounded were sent across the Volga. Von Paulus was still extremely powerful. His 6th Army had reserves not yet committed, as well as 5 panzer divisions that had not yet seen any street fighting. In September, Hitler told von Paulus, the vital thing now is to concentrate every available man and capture as quickly as possible the whole of Stalingrad itself and the banks of the Volga. Von Paulus was a man who obeyed orders. On September 13th, the Germans managed to break into the city proper. They were jubilant. Stalingrad seized. Goebbels announced the demise of the city named after Joseph Stalin. And medals were struck for the victors of Stalingrad. In the field, the issue of awards for valor was prodigal. The Wehrmacht was congratulating itself on its extraordinary achievements. They even started to build a new railroad, not realizing that the real Battle of Stalingrad had not begun. Their mood was one of soldiers who had won a great victory. The letters home were exuberant. Today I wrote to Elsa, we shall soon see each other. All of us feel that the end, victory, is near. For many of them, the end was very near.
Davon geht die Welt nicht unter, die wird ja noch gebraucht. Davon geht die Welt nicht unter, die wird ja noch gebraucht.
The battle for Stalingrad continued. The fighting took on a new character. Whereas previously the course of a campaign could be measured in miles, In Stalingrad, progress was measured in yards. In one 3-day period, the center of the city changed hands 5 times. The front line was behind every pile of rubble. Stalingrad was a general's nightmare. The streets had been so cratered and filled with debris that tanks could not maneuver. There could be little air support. Situations changed so rapidly that artillery was useful only at point-blank range. The lines were only a hand grenade throw away from each other, sometimes as close as different floors in the same house. Often the fighting was hand-to-hand. It was a kind of warfare that put a premium on individual skills, quick eyesight, steady nerves, the will to fight and kill. It was unlike any other great battle that had ever been fought. In one building, 20 Soviet soldiers of different nationalities fought off all attacks for 58 days. It became known as Pavlov's house. In honor of Sergeant Yakov Pavlov, commander of the group. In 1970, Pavlov told his story to people the age he was when he fought in 1942. Ivan Afanasyev fought shoulder to shoulder with Pavlov. He was blinded in the war, but doctors recently restored his eyesight.
Here's the mill, Tamara. The fighting was particularly hard here. The Nazis repeated their attacks for days, and we had to hold out on this bank of the Volga. Over there, see that structure? They broke through to the Volga. We only had a narrow strip of land here.
There is no land for us behind the Volga, said Vasily Zaitsev, the sniper, giving Stalingrad a motto. Matvey Putilov, a signalman dying of wounds, put live wires in his mouth to re-establish communications. General Rodimtsev, a veteran of street fighting in Madrid in the Spanish Civil War. Rodimtsev brought his infantry division across the Volga to reinforce Stalingrad's defenders. His men were sent into action battalion by battalion as soon as they got off the ferries. General Chuikov's 62nd Army was becoming a legend. A German lieutenant wrote, "The front is a corridor between burnt-out rooms. It's the thin ceiling between floors. There's a ceaseless struggle from noon to night. The street is no longer measured by meters, but by corpses." When September began, a German diarist had written, "Are the Russians really going to fight on the very bank of the Volga? It's madness." At the end of October, he was writing, "The Russians are not men, but some kind of cast iron creatures. They never get tired and are not afraid of fire."